do apologize. I know I'm starting this match a little late. We had a bit of an issue. Just got back from playing pickup soccer this morning, so I'm arriving a couple of minutes late. We're 6 minutes into the match, so do apologize for being late. We are here, and we'll get right into this one. As Crystal Palace with possession now, moving it back to their defensive line. I'll get the lineups up as soon as I can here, but because we are a little bit behind in the match, just got started. Just going to cast it from here. Ball down the left from Tyrick Mitchell. Now over to Zaha. Comes across the box. Here's the shot in, and it's a goal from Andros Townsend. It's 1-0 Crystal Palace. Just 6 minutes into the match, and Man United are torn open here in the early stages. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer not looking happy on the sideline. It's just such an easy goal from Crystal Palace. Just simple vertical run out of midfield. This ball across the box. Catches Luke Shaw out of position. You can see Lindelof not tight enough to his man here. Ball gets across and Shaw's late on the run. Townsend gets a shot off. And it's beautifully placed into the back corner going across the face of goal. Catches David De Gea shifting. And De Gea gets a finger on the ball but cannot direct it outside of the goal mouth, and Crystal Palace will take a 1-0 lead here right into the match. So fortunately for us, we have arrived in time for the scoring at the very least. If not for the lineups, we will get those up for you in just a moment here when we can. And United will restart this one. Daniel James starting on the right-hand side today for United, along with Timothy Fosu-Mensah. So notable absentees in Mason Greenwood, who has been having some issues with the English national team, but it's a little surprising to not see him starting after he closed out last season so spectacularly. Similarly, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, excellent defensive right back for Man United, is on the bench in favor of Timothy Fosu-Mensah. Still a bit of a youngster coming back after being loaned to Crystal Palace a couple seasons ago. And they find themselves trailing 1-0 here. Everything for United pretty similar across the rest of the lineup. Martial starting up top. Rashford in the left slot. McTominay, Pogba in the midfield too, with Bruno Fernandes at the 10 role. It's Fosu-Mensah. Now back over to Harry Maguire. It's up towards Luke Shaw. He'll knock this one up the line. It's blocked. Knocked back. I'm going to work on the lineups here for a second, so just give me a moment. I'll try to set these up. Try to get the Crystal Palace one up first as well, considering we've gone through the Man U lineup. Of course, De Gea in goal as well here. I do apologize. I am a bit more familiar with the Man U team than the Crystal Palace team because I am a Man U fan. So not a great start for personal terms. Team's just exchanging possession a little bit here. Check this one out. Okay, that's the Man U lineup. Let me scroll it down to the Crystal Palace lineup. We'll go through it really quickly. So Wilf, Zaha, Jordan, Ayew starting together up top. Jeffrey Schlupp, the assister for the goal to Andros Townsend, starting at the left. James McArthur and James McCarthy. Have fun with those two. In the central midfield pairing, Crystal Palace is in a 4-4-2, so those are the four midfielders across. Schlupp, McArthur, McCarthy, Townsend. Tyrick Mitchell, Mamadou Sakho, Cheikhou Kouyaté, and Joel Ward make up the back four with Vicente Gaita in goal here. So 1 second here. I almost have the Man U lineup up. Another shot came in from Townsend at top of the box. Did drag it a little bit going wide. De Gea not forced into a save on that one. Alrighty. Okay, that should just about do it here. Get it ahead of the background. Perfect. And then let me get the timer active as well, and then we'll get into the commentary here. Again, do apologize for the slow start. Did have a bit of an issue getting home from pickup today. Still nothing doing Man U in most of the possession here, working it up. We're at 12 minutes, 30 seconds into the match. This one being slid across to Fosu-Mensah. He's going to line up a shot at the top of the box. It deflects off of Jeffrey Schlupp. It goes out for a corner. Should be United's first of the match here. All right, I'm going to try to sync this up with 13 minutes if this loads in time. Corner's coming in here. We'll go back towards Maguire. It's won by Pogba. Comes down to McTominay. Dan James goes back outside. Okay, we are synced up on the timer. This one crossed back in by Dan James. Header won by Joel Ward there. Will be cleared away successfully by Crystal Palace. It's all the way back towards Lindelof, who will head back towards De Gea. It's a pretty weak header, and De Gea almost messes it up, almost gives it away to Zaha there, but just fortunate that one falls to him. Man, you retain possession here. Okay, we'll be getting into broadcasting mode, so once again, do apologize for coming in late, but I'll be avoiding commentary and personal opinion until the halftime whistle. So thanks once again for joining. Apologize for being late, and we are fully on here. Lindelof now with possession is going wide out here to Fernandez, who's dropping deep. A poor touch there from Fernandez will be given away to Jeffrey Schlupp here. Wolf Zaha now running at the defense. Not a lot of Crystal Palace shirts with him at the moment. He's waiting for help to arrive. Ayew to his right, now out to Schlupp on the left. Three shirts in the box. Crystal Palace crossing is headed away by Lindelof. Be challenged outside the box by Dan James, but is won by Tyrick Mitchell. Schlupp once again loses out to Dan James. Fosu-Mensah has it. And does have it poked off of him by Mitchell. Should be a Crystal Palace throw here. Oh, but Mitchell gets a little unlucky there. Must have had an extra touch come back to him there. Now Fernandez fighting out with Joel Ward here on the right touch line. Off of the restart from Man U. We'll have it go out for a United throw. Do apologize, Bayat Chairman. I can't show the game. That would be in violation of broadcasting rights. I would get my channel. I'd get my channel shut down immediately. So I would like to keep my channel. I'm practicing being a professional. I'm trying to practice to become a professional broadcaster later on in my life. So if you do want to watch the match, feel free to tune in to NBC Peacock and you can see it there. In the meantime, United is moving this one across the back line. Maguire will move this one out to Luke Shaw. Now coming inside to Scott McTominay. He'll look outside for Rashford. Will be deflected by a Crystal Palace player and will go out for a throw-in. Throw-in is won by Crystal Palace. This one will be knocked long up the touchline. Will find its way out of play. Will be Lindelof now. Maguire moves it across to Fosu-Mensah. One back by Crystal Palace. Good work by James McCarthy, but it looks like he's going to be called for a foul here. A little unfortunate on the part of the Crystal Palace midfielder. Fernandez is the one down here. Actually going to be getting some treatment as we take a look at the replay here. Oh, yeah, McCarthy. That's quite unfortunate for McCarthy, really. He's in full possession of the ball, goes to do a Cruyff turn there, and just steps on Bruno Fernandez's foot. Fernandez not really challenging for the ball. And McCarthy is called for the foul there, I believe. Maybe just stopping play for Fernandez. I would hope that McCarthy wouldn't get the foul called on him here. Really nothing in it whatsoever. Just trying to shuffle that ball away from Fernandez. Thank you. Appreciate it. Sorry, my roommate delivering me some water. Fernandez is back up. Looks like McCarthy has not been called for the foul, so happy to see that that is the case. Hello? That's not the one I wanted to pull. Where is the one I want to pull? This guy. You are too high up the list. Sorry, I realized I had my countdown timer up there. So this one's out for a Crystal Palace throw in here on the left touchline. Will be Tyrick Mitchell to restart the match here. Looking for an option. We'll throw in towards Jeffrey Schlupp up the touchline. It's won by Fosu Mensah, collected by Daniel James. Good work from him. Gets it back to Lindelof. His clearance is held up by Martial temporarily, but McTominay's touch is too much. It gets away to Joel Ward, and now Wolf Zaha with the ball will get fouled by Paul Pogba here in midfield. Will be a free kick to Crystal Palace, about 35 out from the goal. See here on the replay, Pogba going in, sees an opportunity to try to reach around, but just kind of twists Wilfried Zaha with his arms there. Pretty easy foul call for the referee. MacArthur and Zaha talking about a potential strategy for the set play here. It is a little bit too far to shoot this one. Looks like Andros Townsend will be over it to cross this one towards the back post. Here's Townsend to the back post. Bit of a poor ball. Doesn't escape the first man, but it's bouncing around in the box. Maguire will get a half clearance to it. It will be cleared the rest of the way by Paul Pogba. Rashford is on top of it. Now we'll flick over to an onrushing Daniel James. He continues his run up towards Martial. He is challenged by Joel Ward at the top of the box. Will cut it back. Tries to find it inside to Daniel James, but his pass is deflected by Kouyaté. Cleared away by Mamadou Sakho. Luke Shaw will collect it, and United come again here. Has Rashford, now finds him. Rashford flicking it to Paul Pogba. Here's fakes a shot from the top of the box. Here's the actual shot. Pretty decent down to the bottom left corner, but Gaeta is equal to this one and catches it without too much trouble, diving down to his right-hand side here. Decent fake by Pogba. Looks towards the near post, but doesn't quite get the power he wants on it. Gaeta sees this one all the way. Does a nice job getting across, gets his body behind it. Very confident save there from the Crystal Palace goalkeeper. Looks long with his clearance towards Jordan Ayew. Doesn't connect, but Crystal Palace does eventually get possession, but well won back by Paul Pogba. Now this one will be at the feet of Maguire. Out to Rashford. Back to Shaw. Maguire sitting on it. A lot of Crystal Palace shirts behind the ball. You can see a block of 4 up here in the striker line. Another block of 4 in midfield. 2 defenders sitting deep here. So Lindelof looking for an option. Here's Lindelof inside to Pogba. Comes out to Fosu Mensah. United just moving it in between their defensive line. Haven't really found a decent forward pass. Yes, this one now out to Shaw. He's met quickly by Townsend, and it's forced back once again. Crystal Palace very happy to sit in this formation. 2 blocks of 4 players behind the ball. Up a goal here. Forcing United to try to be creative to break them down. Try to find some sort of pathway in. Good pressure here from Zaha, forces McTominay back. Now into Fernandez. In a pretty decent half space. This one comes out to Shaw. Good run here from Rashford. Will be found. Has two Crystal Palace players around him immediately. Here's Fernandez looking for an option. Good pass into McTominay. Top of the box here. Will take a shot. And this one is just wide of the far right corner. Pretty decent shot in there from McTominay. He's well found by Bruno Fernandes. Taking a look at the replay here. We'll take a look at the angle. Does try to curl this one into that far corner. Gets some pretty good whip on it, but just not quite enough spin to guide that one into his path. Looking at the replay, I think Gaita may have had it covered anyway. Meanwhile, Dan James is easily tackled by Andros Townsend on the left touchline after the corner. This one is cleared away by Townsend, the goal scorer. Will be collected by United, but good clearance here from Crystal Palace. They'll be able to get back into their defensive structure. Here's Shaw. Martial now out on the touchline. Tries to find Pogba, but it's a lazy pass. And here comes Jeffrey Schlupp pushing forward. Two Palace players supporting him. As McTominay coming back well. Wills gets stuck in there. Push Schlupp off the ball. Wins that one fairly. United will come the other way. Fernandez looking for the right pass. Will pick out Pogba. Moving it forward back to Fernandez. Decently weighted ball in here for James. Here's the first time cross. It's blocked by Tyreek Mitchell. Will go out for a corner kick. Decently weighted pass there from Bruno Fernandes. Gives Dan James a pretty good opportunity. But that one will be blocked away by Tyreek Mitchell. Here is the ensuing corner. Coming in from the right-hand side. It's one at the back post by Harry Maguire. Goes straight up in the air. Martial fighting for possession at the back. He will come away with it. He's defended by three Crystal Palace players. Now will be forced out of the box by Jordan Ayew. Finds Maguire at the top. He'll pick out Scott McTominay. Drives in. Tries a little flicked pass into Martial. It looked like a decent opportunity, but it just evaded the United striker there. Not able to bring that one under his control. Take a look at it here again. McTominay dragging this one forward. Tries to flick it over the foot of the on-rushing Mamadou Sakho and just escapes Anthony Martial's right foot there and will go out for a goal kick. Goal kick comes out, will be headed clear. Oh, poor touch there from Fosu-Mensah. Will find its way to Jordan Ayew. He's now free at the top of the box. Here's Townsend now, met by Shaw. Cuts back onto his left, tries to shoot, but is leaning back, and that one is sailed into the empty stands behind the United goal. A little unfortunate for Crystal Palace as Fosu-Mensah, with the mistake, underhits his pass to McTominay. You can see Townsend here on the far side of the 18-yard box. Tries to cut that back onto his favored left foot, but never quite gets his balance right. Is leaning back the entire time, and one will result in a goal kick. Meanwhile, Rashford defended quickly by two or three Palace players. You can see they are quick to close down all of these United strikers. Don't want them to have a lot of time on the ball. As Shaw now out on the left. We'll throw this one in towards Fernandez, but easily picked off by Mamadou Sakho. Sorry, that's Cheikhou Kouyaté. Won again by Kouyaté. It is collected by Martial, and now it's out with Fosu-Mensah. Here's Dan James. Fosu-Mensah. Back to Lindelof here. Trying to find some interplay. Decent pass into Martial. There's no one in advance of him. That's a pretty clumsy challenge, but gets the ball from McCarthy. Here's a shot from Fernandez that deflects. But the deflection is good for Gaita, and he's able to collect that one. Bit of a weird series of events here as McCarthy, I believe, goes in with kind of a scissor challenge there on Martial. He does get the ball, and then it falls to Bruno Fernandes. His shot deflected by Kouyaté there. But the deflection, as mentioned, is in the right path for Vicente Gaita. He will pick that one up, and McCarthy still on the ground after that awkward challenge he made onto Anthony Martial. So Hopefully he is okay. Sorry, I do realize the Crystal Palace lineup is a bit off here. Adjust that one. There we go. I've done it again, chat. I've done it again. When will I learn? Whenever I minimize one of my screens, it completely disappears on me, and I can't get it back. They're showing the replay of the goal while McCarthy's down, so I'm gonna take the time to. Oh boy! Oh boy! Oh boy! I apologize. I cannot show this. Sorry about that. Didn't expect that to crop up there. I don't know why it would go straight to there. I do just have a window capture up, so I'm sure that's why it happened, but shouldn't be a big deal. Obviously not trying to show the match at all, just want to commentate it. So do give me a second here. I'm gonna have to pull this one back up. In the meantime, United are coming away with this one at the moment. Why is it still showing that? United here with this one at the top of the box. Pogba trying to shift around, but we'll have that one poked away from him. Still with United here. And it's still trying to find an avenue in here. Again, not a lot of space with this Crystal Palace 4-4-2. They're trying to find gaps in behind, but it is difficult. Palace are squeezing all of the passing angles, trying to make it hard for these United players. There's a cross in from the right-hand side, easily cleared away by Mamadou Sakho. Cross here from Bruno Fernandes, deflected away by Mitchell. Now there's some room to run here for Wilfried Zaha. Doesn't have a lot of support for United defenders, for two Crystal Palace players. Tries to go right past Victor Lindelof with pace. Lindelof is equal to it on this occasion, and well defended there by the United center back. Sorry, still struggling a bit with this one. This always happens when I subtract a when I do it, when I accidentally minimize the foot mob, it always does this to me. It's quite unfortunate. Man United player down here. It is Rashford. Is struggling. So we see this challenge coming in from Ward. Looks like he gets up and over Rashford and kind of bangs into him with his arm. That one will definitely hurt. Rashford is back on his feet here. I think I almost have this fixed. So again, do apologize. This kind of happens sometimes. Oh man, I cannot select the right thing here. Here we go. All right, just 1 minute here. We will have this back up. "33 minutes into this one. Crystal Palace still leading 1-0. Man United still with most of the possession, trying to find their way back into this one. Not being particularly successful at the moment as they are being frustrated at the top of the box in possession. This is the sort of problem that you would have plagued United for the majority of the early portions of last season until Fernandes came in and really made a huge difference for them in the latter stages of last season. And now I think I got it. Just got to resize it a little bit. Nice. There we go. Okay, push these two back up. Put this down a bit. Do not minimize. Do not minimize. If I'm going to go minimize something, chat, remind me not to do it. Okay. We're back. Sorry about that. 34 minutes into the match here. United still with the majority of possession. Crystal Palace happy to sit on this 1-goal lead that they won for themselves in the 7th minute. Goal from Andros Townsend, assisted by Jeffrey Schlupp on a pretty simple routine. Long ball over the top into the path of Schlupp, who crossed first time across and caught Luke Shaw out of position. Andros Townsend on rushing from the far side of the box did put that one away. Here's Pogba trying to pick out Bruno Fernandes, but his pass will be picked off by McCarthy. Here's MacArthur looking long for Townsend. That pass will evade him as well and go out for United throw. United now looking to quickly restart here, hoping to catch Townsend out, but Townsend makes a great run back. Will intercept the pass intended for Rashford. Crystal Palace will win it back, but Gaeta will be forced to clear this one away as the back pass was headed a little bit away from him. MacArthur collecting this one in midfield. It's out to Joel Ward. He'll clip this one up the line. Well read by Harry Maguire. Knocked down for Shaw. Good pass into Martial. Plays in the overlapping Luke Shaw. First time cross. Looks like it's deflected, but may have just been lifted too high by Shaw. That one nowhere near anyone, and now it looks like no deflection. Shaw frustrated with himself here. So that one sails harmlessly out for a throw-in. So far, Crystal Palace defense has done a very nice job, and midfield line has done a very nice job of limiting United's chances, frustrating them, keeping them out of the box, out of dangerous areas, dangerous shooting opportunities. Very, very limiting, and United really trying to find that breakthrough, trying to get it onto the feet of Paul Pogba, Bruno Fernandes, the players that have the ability to make that sort of breakthrough. But anytime you see Pogba, Rashford, Martial, Fernandes on the ball, Crystal Palace closes them down relentlessly, knowing that they are the ones with the ability to break them down. Here's Dan James now. Good move by Fosu-Mensah. Finds himself in the box. His cutback will find James. The shot is weak and is deflected away by McCarthy. Comes back out to Fernandes and looks like they've caught Fosu-Mensah off sides here. So Crystal Palace escaped this one, what looked to be the first decent chance for United of the match here, as Fosu-Mensah inside Tyrick Mitchell spins him a little bit, gets an opportunity in behind the Crystal Palace defensive line, but his cutback is read by McCarthy. It's deflected initially by McCarthy into the path of Dan James, but his shot does not get any power or purchase behind it, and it's easily blocked away by the combination of MacArthur and McCarthy there in midfield. So now Gaita will restart it from the offsides position. Headers won there by Jordan Ayew. Will come out for Crystal Palace throw. Up the line towards Wilfred Zaha. Tries to collect it. It's a tough one. Will fall to Lindelof, and now Pogba spraying it across towards Luke Shaw. He's being run down by Andros Townsend. Tries to find Rashford, but his pass is misplaced. Bounces around a bit and eventually does come to Rashford, who has managed to stay on sides. Good nutmeg here from Shaw. Able to escape Andros Townsend. McTominay trying to look across for Fernandez. That passing angle's cut. Instead, he'll find Fosu Mensah. Out wide to Dan James. Flicked in behind for Fosu Mensah. Two players there, and the cross is blocked by Jeffrey Schlupp. Be a throw into United here. Short throw from Fernandez. Gets it back. Now Maguire lofting this one back post towards Shaw. Won well by Joel Ward. Will be flicked out for a United throw. Holding the back of his head there, may have come into contact with some part of Shaw's body. Not sure exactly. Oh, yeah, actually head banging into the back of the turf. Not making any contact with Shaw there, so a little bit of a painful one there for Joel Ward, but we'll be happy he was able to head that one away from the on-rushing United left back. Fosu Mensah with it. Looking back towards Lindelof here. Maguire. Out now to Shaw. Maguire all the way across to Fosu Mensah. Here's Dan James trying to cut inside of Tyrick Mitchell. Has McCarthy there for help. Here's some good interplay from United. This one flicked by Bruno Fernandes at the top of the box. He's trying to find the run of Pogba. Now two United players down on the turf. You can see Pogba down in the box after making his deep run. You can see his shoe has actually been left on the turf as well here. And Fernandes is left in a heap as well after trying to play this one and being clipped by Andros Townsend there. And you can see Mitchell and McCarthy sort of collapsing on top of Pogba there from two different angles. It will be a United free kick at the top of the box is what's been called. It looks like they're checking for a penalty here on Paul Pogba. As we mentioned, Pogba went down inside the box, did lose a shoe as well. It looks like McCarthy kind of steps on the back of his heel. I don't know if he knows much about it. You can see his eyes are on the ball the entire way. McCarthy really just trying to sort of close down the position or the run. Yeah, never once looks at Pogba. Does step on his shoe there with his left foot. You can see it come down on the right foot of Pogba. The shoe comes off. This one's a tricky one. There's really no intent here from McCarthy. He does clip Pogba, but it's hard to argue that Pogba would be getting possession of this ball in the first place. It's looped very high from Fernandes. I would be very surprised if this was called for a penalty and a little bit disappointed, honestly. I think this should just be a foul at the top of the box for the clip from Andros Townsend onto Bruno Fernandes. And McCarthy really never even aware of Pogba's presence there. And yeah, will be called no penalty. So we'll just be a free kick to United in a pretty good position here. Fernandes is going to take it quickly here. Hits the top of the box. Or sorry, the top of the wall. And we'll go out for a corner kick. So not the best free kick there from Fernandes. Has shown he can really hit them in the past. And that one coming straight off the head of Joel Ward. So we'll be a corner kick for United. Luke Shaw standing over this one will be an outswinging corner from the left side. This one easily read by Jeffrey Schlupp, I believe, and headed away. Now back in at the top of the box is Rashford looking for an option. We'll try to find Fernandes. Screens Wilfred Zaha off the ball, trying to challenge behind him. Now it's Pogba. Sorry, Fosu Mensah. Martial with a poor touch there. Gives it away to Jordan Ayew. He's surrounded by three players, but is fouled by Harry Maguire. Easy call there for the referee. That'll be a free kick to Crystal Palace, and they'll be able to relieve the pressure of the last couple minutes. So 41 minutes on the clock here, just about to eclipse 42. 3 minutes remaining in regulation. Shouldn't be too much stoppage time here. Really only had McCarthy down for a little bit midway through the half, so would expect maybe 2 minutes, potentially 3 of stoppage time, as Fernandez knocking this one long as the free kick was bouncing around in United's half. This will be hoofed out by Joel Ward. Should go out for United throw here. Actually, will stay in play, will be collected by Harry Maguire, and United will reset from their own half. Once again, Crystal Palace happy to let them have possession in this part of the field. Jordan Ayew just trying to close down McTominay a little bit. This one flicked up the line by Luke Shaw towards Bruno, but it's easily read by Kouyaté and cut out. Now McCarthy into Townsend. Out wide to Ward. He'll look long towards Ayew. Sorry, that is Wilf Zaha, but the timing is off. That one will sail all the way back to De Gea, who will pass out to Lindelof. And United will try once again. Good entry pass in here from Pogba into Rashford, who was checking back. Now sprayed out wide for Shaw. Has a little room to work. Townsend tries to close him down. His flick pass will find Martial. Now Pogba, you can see all of the white shirts at the top of the box. This is a good reverse pass for Shaw. But Shaw doesn't quite get there and tries to save it instead of crossing it. Actually looks like he's jogging back, so didn't quite get to that pass from Fernandez and didn't even get a cross in. So that one will be a goal kick, as we can see Donny van de Beek sitting on the bench here for United in their opener. Looking very pensive there. Is the kind of player that may be able to impact the match. Meanwhile, great Mason Greenwood also sitting on the bench. Dan James preferred over him for this one. So far has not paid dividends for United, as they have looked very short of ideas in this match. Even the couple of opportunities they've generated really haven't created any shots on target, as Townsend will be late to this 50-50 with McTominay. Will take him down. Be a simple foul for United here. Just sticking his leg in a bit late there. Knows he fouled McTominay. Apologizes. Helps the United player up. Fernandez here will reverse play. Will find Pogba. Good ball into Fosu-Mensah. Is skipped for Dan James. Dan James with an early cross. That one's headed away by Mamadou Sakho. Comes out to Pogba. Lindelof. Maguire now driving forward a little bit. Will find McTominay, but he's closed down quickly by MacArthur. Pogba trying to get the best of Schlupp here. Finds Fosu-Mensah. Dan James. Dan James just forced back. McTominay and Lindelof exchanging passes. McTominay's escapes Lindelof. He's forced all the way back to De Gea. Now just 20 seconds remain in regulation here in the first half. Rashford getting wide. Here's Maguire crossing this one towards Fosu-Mensah. So Palace will just shift to the other side of the field. They get there before this one arrives with Dan James. Now Pogba trying to turn inside will find Harry Maguire. Maguire looking inside to Rashford, but it's brought right back to him. We'll clip this one wide to Fosu-Mensah. First time cross is pretty poor. Does come down to Fernandez. Does have two players closing him down. Here's Fosu-Mensah on the right. Good cross into the box. Almost finds Martial, but it's cut out by Joel Ward and knocked away at the last second. Now Wilfried Zaha has some room to run. He's one-on-one with Victor Lindelof. Does now have support from Maguire, and a good tackle by Fernandez chasing back. Will poke it off. Zaha does a nice job to hold him off of the second challenge, and will find Jordan Ayew out on the left. Ayew taking on McTominay, gets inside of him, will get a shot away. Good palm to it by De Gea. Will knock it over the bar for a Crystal Palace corner, and we have 4 minutes of stoppage time at the end of this first half. See, it's a good ball out for Ayew here. Gives a couple of step-overs, does wrong foot McTominay, and gets a decent shot away. It's not the toughest save De Gea has ever had to make, but not the easiest either. Does a good job with that reaction time, getting that palm up to that one, knocking it over the bar, and a decent chance there for Crystal Palace right at the end of regulation here. Here's this one brought in, now cleared away by United. Is collected by Crystal Palace. It's out wide. Here's a shot from, I believe, Ayew. Sorry, that is Wilf Zaha. That one will go just wide of the left-hand post of De Gea. Didn't quite get the strike he wanted onto that one. Dragged it a little bit. Crystal Palace in possession here. Plays allowed to go as Wilf Zaha was brought down, but advantage now played as McTominay wins that one back, and Crystal Palace will get the free kick. Free kick taken here, flicked on by Zaha. Ayew will come away with it. He's in the left corner. There are 3 United players in front of him. Be closed down by Pogba. Trying to hold this one up as Pogba got both hands on him. Ayew doing a nice job. Pogba finally gets his body in the way. Will sort of win this one. It's in a series of continuous challenges here, but eventually bounces out for United throw. 48 minutes now on the clock here. Just 1 minute remaining in stoppage time in this first half as Fosu Mensah onto this throw-in. Will look long, but his throw too long for Martial, and McCarthy will knock this one all the way back to Gaita. Now Gaita looking long here. Try to pick out Wilf Zaha, but will find Jeffrey Schlupp. Oh, Schlupp trying to look early for Zaha in behind Lindelof, but loops his pass. Lindelof is able to try to clear this one off. Zaha eventually will succeed at knocking it up the line. Looks like Zaha may have been called for a foul or an offsides there, and De Gea will run over to this one as the clock ticks over. The 49-minute mark should be the end of the half here at any moment. The referee puts his whistle to his mouth and will blow for halftime. So that brings the first half of this match to a conclusion. We'll go into the break. Crystal Palace leading Manchester United 1-0 thanks to a goal from Andros Townsend in the 7th minute of play. All right. Once again, sorry for getting here late. That was the first half. It's always a little slow in games like these when a side like United is expected to be in possession. Crystal Palace is playing a 4-4-2. And a 4-4-2 is considered today to be a very defensive formation. The reason being that back in the day when 4-4-2 was considered to be an offensive formation, you would have 2 wide wingers. They would be expected to be proper wingers, where they would sit wide on the touchline. You typically have a right footer on the right, left footer on the left. And they're expected to cross to 2 center forwards, right? Typically one that's larger. You either have 2 that are large and you're really playing for, headers, crosses, free kicks, etc. Or, they can still have good movement in the box, but you're looking for service, right, into the box. And today we have a lot more inside forwards, people that are right-footed playing on the left, people that are left-footed playing on the right, cutting in, shooting, etc. That opens overlapping space on the wing. 4-4-2 is considered defensive today because you are shorn in the midfield, right? You're giving up a midfielder. All right, so if someone plays a 4-2-3-1 or a 4-3-3 or whatever the case may be, you're down a midfielder in the midfield space. And Guardiola and a lot of other Spanish teams in particular made it very popular to punish that, where you would take advantage of that extra midfielder. You would throw really good technical midfielders into the space. You would dominate that space, dominate possession, and by doing so, you would break in between the lines very well. That does require you to play very quickly. And so what ended up kind of happening to a 4-4-2 is instead of trying to win midfield, you just say, okay, congratulations, you've won the midfield. We're going to let you have possession. But instead of having our line of 4 midfielders, higher up the field, trying to attack, no, we're not going to do any of that. we're going to have our line of midfielders right in front of our line of defenders. So now you have a block of 4 defenders and a block of 4 midfielders somewhere within 5 to 7 yards of each other. And they sit off. They let at least 1 or 2 of the opposition midfielders play deeper than them and have possession, all the way up until 5 to 10 yards inside their own half. And so basically the depth of the defensive structure makes it very hard, because even though you have numbers in midfield, well, they've just said you can have the midfield. What you can't have is the space on top of our box, the space out wide of our box. We're going to defend that with everything we got. We're going to drop deep. We're going to cut passing angles. We're going to cut space. We're going to make it hard on you, right? And so that's why the 4-4-2 today is a defensive formation. And so for a team like United, it becomes very frustrating because you have possession, but you don't have any good possession. You're not, they haven't taken any good shots. Even their decent chances haven't really resulted in shots on target. They've been sort of half chances, right? And that's because there are 8 Crystal Palace players behind the ball at all times. Sometimes 9 if they bring a striker back. Sometimes 10 if they say, screw it. And particularly with a 1-goal lead, they have absolutely no obligation to come out of their shape, right? They're not chasing the game. They don't care. They're winning. And so they can sit deeper. They can continue to close space. And they can look for pot shots on the break, right? They have very quick strikers and wingers. Zaha, obviously an excellent player, super good taking on other people, super good in 1v1, 1v2 situations. Ayew is excellent at holding up play, plays off of Zaha very well. You have Schlupp very quick on the right. And Townsend, who's very quick and adept on the left. And Townsend can cut inside a little bit more, and it gives you a little bit more of a different option, right? So you're not really crossing on that left side as much. You're trying to maybe cut in or do interplay. But yeah, I mean, Crystal Palace can just look for pot shots on the break, look for free kicks, right? Try to extend the lead when United come forward and try to break them down. And so when a 4-4-2 team is ahead like this, the match becomes very slow because they just say, hey, you can have the ball. You can come 5 or 6 yards into our half, and then good luck trying to find a pass in behind us, right? To really split us open. And United's struggling with it. And I think United is particularly struggling with it because of what Ole has selected today. Daniel James is a traditional winger. He will pressure well. He can go well down the line. He's a decent crosser. He will not beat you off the dribble. He's not going to turn a 1v2, 1v1. He's not going to get a half step and force another defender to come out of their shape, right? He's not going to disrupt someone by doing something unexpected or sort of just powering by someone. He's much more your traditional winger type. Fosu Mensah is not quite, I would say, a complete right back. He's okay defensively. Certainly not going to overlap and be super dangerous. And if I'm a professional defender, if I'm a Crystal Palace defender, I'm not really afraid of him overlapping. I'm not really afraid of his crossing. And so it's very easy for them to just say, okay, we just defend solidly on this right-hand side and nothing can happen, right? Like they can predict every pattern of play on the right side of the field. On the left side of the field, whenever Rashford gets on the ball, you can see McArthur, whoever is the strong side midfielder is just closing down immediately. Like 2 players are coming over. They're saying, you can't dribble, you can't run. We're not letting you do anything because we know you are the kind of player, right? Rashford's the kind of player that could beat someone off the dribble, that could make something kind of happen on his own. And so they're saying, you don't get any space. And it becomes very easy. It's a very predictable pattern of play. And I think Ole's backed himself into a corner with this one because I think maybe he expected them to be in the lead and Daniel James could help pressure the opposition, make it hard for them to play out and create chances that way as the game stretched. But now they found themselves in a deficit. They need to break down this team. And now really Bruno and Pogba are your only players capable of doing that. Maybe Rashford as well. Martial is a good player as well, but when you're a striker, your back's to goal. You're kind of dependent on interplay. The ball has to come into you, right? You have a lot of defenders around you in the first place. And so it's really, up to Pogba, Rashford, Bruno to break them down. And they just close them out super hard every time with a ton of players and say, somebody else beat us, and nobody else can. So I think we'll see Greenwood introduced pretty soon. I think we might also see Donny van de Beek for someone. These are players who can, kind of make things happen. Greenwood can beat you on the dribble. He can shoot from pretty much anywhere. He's someone that could definitely stretch even a defender like Tyrick Mitchell, who's very quick, solid defender, and could force Crystal Palace to have, if you get a step on a defender right now, maybe someone else has to shift. They get out of position. Now you have a cross open, right? That's the kind of stuff that can happen when you can beat someone off the dribble or do something creative to make it happen. And United just don't have that on one side of the field right now, and so the play is super predictable. Just shut down the left, and then you don't have to really be afraid of the right. So we'll see. We'll see if they can adjust. We'll see if they can get something going. But this looks a lot like United was in the first half of last season when they were super dreadful and just had no ideas whatsoever. And yeah, Bruno's in there now, but again, you can just take both your midfielders, crowd him out, and make it super hard on him. So it can't be just him. It can't be just Rashford. Somebody else has to come up with it. And you saw, maybe the only two decent opportunities in the entire game. A free kick earned by Pogba Bruno doing a combination play, a couple of combinations between Rashford, McTominay, Martial. So those are the players, but there's not a lot of them. And if the play's moving slowly, it's really easy for Crystal Palace to just overman them, not allow them to have time, space. So we'll see if they can adjust. We'll see if Ole's got anything up his sleeve. But I think he's in a lot of trouble given his selection right now, and I think he's going to need to make substitutions. Personally, I would make them before 60 minutes, but we'll see what he does. Anyway, I'm going to get some water. I will be right back. Thanks again for tuning in. Again, apologize for starting this one late, but we'll get the full second half in here. Hey, Silks. Yeah, Crystal Palace is on top. Do you mean by score, or just where I have them positioned in the scoreboard? They have I would, if you're saying they're on top in terms of play, I would agree with you. Absolutely, they were certainly the better team in the first half. Possession stats often lie to you. It's about the quality of your possession and what you can turn that into. And the game has gone exactly the way Crystal Palace has wanted it to. Slow, steady, early goal, sit in defensively, and play to their strengths through Zaha, through Schlupp, through Jordan Ayew. So, yeah, absolutely, they've been the better side. I might change the color of the Crystal Palace score here. It's a little bit, blending in with that background. Make it a little darker, even though their jerseys aren't. We know they're blue. There we go. It's still not great, but we'll live with it. Okay, we're just working through some ads here. So we're getting through the second half. Let's see. Does anyone know, did Crystal Palace play a 4-4-2 in their first match? Who was their first match against? They won it. I know that it was a 1-0 win, I think. They should have won by more. Wolf Zaha missed a couple of good chances at the end of the match. Let's see. They beat Southampton 1-0. Let me check the lineups on that. I'm interested to see if because I don't think Schlupp played last week. So I think this might be a specific schedule that was brought out for United. By Roy Hodgson. Hodgson's always been a bit of a defensive manager, but it's working very well today. So we'll give him credit if he did change this, expecting this to be the case. No, it looks like they lined up in a 4-4-2 last week as well. Yeah, same lineup, but Scott Dan was in instead of Mamadou Sakho. I mean, Crystal Palace have always been known to play a little defensively. Hodgson's been a pretty defensive-minded manager for a very long time, and knows he kind of has outlet options in Zaha. Okay, looks like Greenwood's up. Oh, halftime substitution here. So Greenwood coming on. I'm going to guess Dan James going off. We'll see if I'm correct. I am correct. So, yeah, Dan James going off. Mason Greenwood coming on. I think this is a really good decision. I think, yeah, solid. I think at least give credit for the fact that Ole has recognized they have a severe problem. They're not generating any chances, and they need to switch it up. So, good substitution here. We're getting into the second half. I'm going to try to sync up the timer here, and we will get into broadcasting mode as soon as it starts, and I'll be with you at the end of the match for commentary, thoughts, and player ratings. So thanks again for joining, and please enjoy the second half. Half restarts here with United. Mason Greenwood coming on at halftime in favor of Daniel James here, who did prove to be a bit ineffective in that first half. So bit of a different look now for United on this right-hand side. Fosu Mensah will still be partnered with Greenwood on that right side. Crossfield pass here from Pogba. It's a bit inaccurate, but we'll pick out Shaw. Shaw now cutting inside. Looks early for Greenwood, who's cut all the way inside into that central position, but that pass deflected by MacArthur. United will retain possession here after the clearance. So I'm going to come across to Lindelof. Lindelof continuing to advance. We'll pick up Martial dropping deep. Here's Greenwood. Good exchanges between the three strikers, but Martial's pass is read well by Townsend. Does pick it off, but his outlet to Wilf Zaha does escape Crystal Palace striker, and United will regain possession once again. Tomine is forward. We'll pick out Fosu Mensah. You can see Greenwood occupying a more interior role than Daniel James was. Dan James often stationed on that touchline in advance of Fosu Mensah. Now Greenwood a little bit withdrawn towards the center of the field, allowing for a larger channel for Fosu Mensah on that right-hand touchline. Ball is with Lindelof. Fosu Mensah will be his option. Greenwood going to fake the run out. Fosu Mensah doesn't see a great pass. We'll reset it. Pogba allowed to turn. We'll pick out Shaw with a lovely pass out to the left. Looks inside for Rashford. Tries to exchange with Bruno. Not quite on the same page that time around. This one will flick off a United head. Go out for Crystal Palace throw. Townsend will see that one out. And Woodward in the stands today. Doing a nice job with that full mask on. We are still under the COVID crisis. Fans not allowed in the English Premier League stadiums just yet, as some have been allowed in some NFL stadiums in the United States. United going to win back possession off this throw. Fernandez harried by 3 Crystal Palace players, but does get his pass to Greenwood. Leaves this one forward. Fosu-Mensah reverses it for Greenwood. Pogba inside. Pressured here by Ayew. Dropped all the way back from the forward position. Good pass in behind. Is picked off well by Jeffrey Schlupp. And Fosu-Mensah tries to control, but we'll see that one go out of play. Throw into Crystal Palace here. Palace taking their time to get this one restarted. See Sir Alex Ferguson also in attendance here today, sitting just below Ed Woodward here. Pass from Pogba here, picked off by MacArthur. Battle for possession in midfield is won out by Ayew, and now Crystal Palace can break. Here's a good exchange. Ayew has some room to work. He has 2 United players around him waiting for the overlap from Townsend. Will shoot himself instead. Doesn't get the power he wanted on the strike, and it's an easy save for De Gea. This is a good opportunity for Palace here as Ayew doing well to ride the challenge of McTominay. Breaks forward after a pass from Townsend. Is forced back by Shaw. And looks like he's going to wait for the overlap of Townsend, but decides to take on the shot himself and doesn't get the power he wants on it. It bounces into De Gea's hands. Nothing too difficult for the United goalkeeper there. United do have it once again outside the box on the right-hand side here. It's McTominay. Pogba sitting deep of him. Here's Greenwood. Sorry, that is Fosu-Mensah. See Greenwood still inside of Fosu-Mensah. Occupying that inside channel. Here's Shaw now. Good crossfield pass. His cross on the ground is picked off by Mamadou Sakho. Header forward does not connect with Bruno. Townsend has it now. He's chased down by the Portuguese. And it will come off of him for a throw-in. Ole looking a little perturbed on the bench. 50 minutes on the clock did again make that halftime substitution, trying to change things up a bit here. Greenwood coming on despite not being selected for the starting lineup. Townsend doing well to win this one off of Luke Shaw. Will knock it off of him for another Crystal Palace throw-in. Joel Ward will be the player tasked with this one. Looking long towards Jordan Ayew. He's held up well by Maguire. Header won by the United defender. Picked up by Pogba. Good outlet pass to Martial. Here's a little bit of room for Rashford. He's closed down by 2. Has Kouyaté and MacArthur in front of him. Sorry, that's Ward. His pass deflected, but comes to Pogba. Gets past McCarthy. Takes a shot from outside the box with his left foot, but doesn't quite hit it right. That one dribbling across the surface instead of being struck low through the air. You can see drags it just a tad. Doesn't quite get the laces through that one. Instead of getting full power behind it, that one will just roll into the path of Gaeta, who has a pretty easy save for himself on that one. It's a challenge in the air here, won by Schlupp against Pogba. Now in behind is Wilf Zaha. One-on-one with Lindelof. Will get around him. Good deflection there as Lindelof gets his foot in the way and blocks that shot, but the shot will come back to Townsend. His right-footed cross will be cleared away at the top of the box by Pogba. Now a player down for United here. Greenwood wants to play him, but the referee will stop it, indicating a potential head injury here. It's Fosu-Mensah sitting down on the turf here. Can be helped to his feet by De Gea. Does call the trainer off. Looks like he may have just gotten poked in the eye. Is holding that right hand eye. Yeah, must have gotten something in there. So it does look to be okay. Play will be restarted here. Just dropped to United by the referee. And will come out to Luke Shaw. Marcus Rashford now. Dropping in. We'll knock it back to Maguire. Heading back up the field. You can see Fernandez out here in this left-hand pocket. But a poor pass from Shaw will go out of play. Be a Crystal Palace throw-in. Palace still probably happy with the pace of the match despite the substitution at half. Not a ton has changed as of yet. We are still very early into the second half. Just 7 minutes elapsed on the clock so far. A needless foul here from Jordan Ayew onto Harry Maguire as he was knocking that one back to De Gea. He'll simply apologize and play will resume. McTominay going to shift this one across to Lindelof. Now inside to Pogba. Pass up to Martial, but better defending from Sacco will knock that one away. Now fighting with McCarthy for possession is Pogba. McCarthy does well to hold him off. Some good footwork from Schlupp on the touchline will escape a challenge and draw a foul. Now Crystal Palace will take their time to restart here. Sacco going to walk over to take this one. Probably looking for the head of Ayew here. Instead, we'll loft it up the line to Zaha. Zaha holding off a couple United players. Greenwood now the closest one, but he will turn him instantly. Driving into the box here past a few United players. Lays it back towards the top of the box. Here is Townsend once again. His shot does not come off. I believe it was deflected by a United player, and it will go out for a corner there. Some excellent work here from Wilf Zaha, driving through 3 United players. Good cutback here. Actually, sorry, I think that was Schlupp driving through multiple players there. I think the cutback actually comes to Zaha. I'll have to look at the replay once again. This one definitely deflected by a United player. Will be a corner kick. Picking out Zaha here. The numbers on the Crystal Palace uniforms are a little hard to read because of the stripes. I try to pick out Zaha because he's wearing pink boots here today as the corner here headed away by McTominay. Take a look at Schlupp here to see if he's also wearing similar colored boots, but one of the Crystal Palace players in the box, they're definitely slipping on the cutback. A little unfortunate for them as Greenwood is manhandled by Joel Ward here, and he will receive a yellow card for his treatment of the United striker here. So he makes a mistake in possession and just wraps Greenwood, forcing him off the ball, and yeah, it's a pretty easy call for the referee. So Ward will be the first one in the book here today, I believe. Unless I missed one in the opening stages of the match. Again, I was a little bit late, missed the first 5 minutes or so. Here's Maguire now. Gonna look out wide here, picks out Rashford. He's closed down quickly by Townsend. Good energy there from the winger. Currently the goal scorer of the match winner. And this pass across the field by Maguire, taken away by Schlupp. Here is Wilf Zaha alone with McTominay now. Pretty decent defending from the United midfielder here. We'll force him back. Cuts back to Schlupp. He has 3 players around him and will just be forced out of the box. Is allowed to turn. He plays this one across the face of goal, but nobody arriving. Now Rashford picking it up with Ward for company. Reset it to Shaw, who's met by Townsend. He'll look inside.
Wonderful.
And Bland Kolajan, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the booth. Do hope you're enjoying the stream today. As Bruno Fernandes has this one, we'll be looking inside. Now in with Pogba, but his pass is lazy and easily picked out by James McCarthy there. He'll send it back to Gaeta, who will knock this one long. Header won by Ayew, but eventually Maguire will come away with it, knocking it back to De Gea. He collects this one, moves it on to Lindelof. Greenwood will move it back to McTominay in midfield. He'll look wide. 2 players out here. Shaw overlapping Rashford, but plenty of defenders there from Crystal Palace in the way. A couple of short passes here. We'll pick up Martial. He drives into the box. Now Rashford with it. Tries to return pass to Martial, but the two not quite on the same page. His pass a little bit early. Martial does go down in the box, but not much contact there, and pretty clear the two just mistiming their efforts there. So another goal kick over to Crystal Palace, and Roy Hodgson there must be a happy man at the moment. So we are approaching the hour mark here, just 4 minutes away from that one. His team has looked good today, executing the game plan to perfection after that goal in the 7th minute from Andros Townsend. After some good work, a nice ball over the top from Tyrick Mitchell, an excellent run by Jeffrey Schlupp, and an excellent cross from the wide man as well. Palace resuming once again here. Decent tackle from Fosu-Mensah, but it looks like did not get all of the ball here. Referee walking over card is already out, and Fosu-Mensah will go in the book here. First United player in the book, second of the match for this challenge on to overlapping Tyrick Mitchell. And get a good replay here. It does get a piece of the ball, but the tackle itself does clip Tyrick Mitchell. Takes him down to the ground, not allowing him to continue that run, and that will be a booking there for the young United right back. So set play here for Crystal Palace out from the left touchline. Andros Townsend standing over this one. Here comes the cross. It's low and hard towards the near post, but easily cut out by Bruno Fernandes. Not the best ball that's probably been played by Townsend in his career. And only a half clearance, though, from Fernandes, and Townsend now has it, but another good challenge from the Portuguese international. We'll bring this one away for United. Shaw has it now. We'll move this one forward. McTominay cutting this one back. We'll look out to Shaw here. And now Maguire will move this one across. Here's Fosu-Mensah. United still looking bereft of ideas here despite the introduction of Mason Greenwood. Not much has changed. The pacing of the match, the passing patterns, the movement from United have all looked very similar to what they were in the first half. So Maguire moving forward will pick out Fosu-Mensah. Has Rashford outside of him. Waits a little bit too long. He's a good cross into the back post, and Greenwood with the header does not get that one on target. Very surprising there from the United striker. Usually is fairly accurate on these kinds of opportunities. Fosu-Mensah finally finds some space for himself. Gets into the box, lofts a nice cross into the back post. It evades the head of Joel Ward there, and it's a free header from Mason Greenwood, but doesn't get it anywhere near the goal there. A few yards wide, in fact, and very frustrated with himself after that one. Maybe not quite prepared for that one to come over the head of Joel Ward, and will be a goal kick to Crystal Palace. Definitely the best opportunity United have seen in a while. Still would have been asking a bit of Mason Greenwood to score there, generate the power on the cross from that position, but did at least have a chance to get that header on target. Fernandes asking for an overlapping run here, but it's easily read by Joel Ward. A bit of a miscommunication between Ward and McCarthy there. Result in a turnover. And here's Shaw moving this one across. Lindelof. Here's Fosu-Mensah with some room to work. He's one-on-one with Mitchell. Doesn't have a lot of midfield help. But the touch from Fosu-Mensah is too big, and MacArthur does arrive. Here's De Gea coming out to get this clearance. He will knock it over to Maguire. We'll pick out Mason Greenwood now on this far left touchline. Cutting inside, looking for an option. Exchanging passes with Shaw. Here's Fernandes. Pretty stagnant in front of them. You can see Rashford and Martial, the only ones in the picture. Both matched by two defenders from Crystal Palace. As Tommy moving this one across. Pogba. Now Fosu-Mensah. Cross is blocked. Comes back out to Rashford. Greenwood now cropping up on the right-hand side. Greenwood definitely trying to get involved, moving from left to right. Here's a cross in from Fernandes. Good header away by Mamadou Sakho, and this one cleared the rest of the way by Ward. Eventually collected by Maguire. Okay, I'm going to change the CPA thing again. It's actually bothering me. This is like a very dumb thing to be pissed about. Meanwhile, United is in the box. There's a cross from Martial, but it doesn't pick anyone out. Cleared away here by Townsend. Will find the feet of Wilfred Zaha. Now has some room to run against Maguire. Pogba does arrive to provide some help for his center back, but a good reverse pass will find Townsend. Has Ayew in the box, makes a deep run here. Gonna look back towards Schlupp. He collects, looks for a shot. It's blocked by McTominay, who closed down well, and McTominay will be fouled by Schlupp, who a little frustrated with his first touch there, not able to get that one out of his feet as quickly as he would have liked. So that attack will fizzle out there for Crystal Palace. First really decent spell we've seen from them. Again, they've been very happy to defend in blocks as this match has gone on, and they've done a very good job of it. As here's Fernandez now into Shaw. A little bit of room here at the top. His pass is deflected, though. Will come out to Pogba, and who's another lazy pass from him is picked off by Ayew. Now running straight. Great challenge here from Bruno Fernandes there. Retreating very well. Another misplaced pass from Pogba. Was trying to play, I believe, Greenwood into space. But that one picked off by Townsend. You don't see Pogba misplace this many passes too often, but has had 3 or 4 in this match that have been under hit or a little bit lackadaisical, be read or picked off by Crystal Palace. Again, it does become harder when so many gaps are closed by all the players behind the ball. As Maguire does well to step in here to this loose ball, but eventually won by Crystal Palace, and Zaha will go down at half under the challenge from Maguire, and Maguire will be the second United defender going into the book here. You see Zaha pushing this one past him. And yeah, easily clipped there by Maguire. Just throws his body into the path of Zaha, and that's a pretty easy yellow card for the referee. You see Donny van de Beek, new United signing over the summer, getting ready here. Jersey is going on. Be interested to see who he's coming on for. My guess would be probably McTominay, as United need to look for more attacking creative options to try to equalize this match. But could be any of really the front 5. So now McCarthy will escape the attentions of Rashford. Good interplay here between Ayew and Zaha. Will end up with Townsend on the wide. Good read from McTominay. Will pick that pass off. Fernandez under a ton of pressure early. He's fouled, but play will continue. There's some room to run here for United as Fosu Mensah crosses half. Looks out to Greenwood, who's one-on-one with Mitchell. Couple step overs. Will look inside. Does have McCarthy coming over to help Mitchell. He will block the shot from Mason Greenwood. Will come back out to Fosu Mensah and McTominay. Now Pogba, a little bit of miscontrol there, but will regain possession of the ball. Now it's Fernandez. Out towards Fosu Mensah. Greenwood makes a run in behind here. This one comes into Martial. Good first touch. But Kouyaté is there quickly. Closes this one down. Clears it away. Good defending from the Crystal Palace center back there. Throwing is quick to Fernandez. Now it's into Pogba. He's back to Lindelof. Fernandez again now. Martial's out here on the right with Fosu Mensah. Greenwood occupying the central striker role. A couple of exchange passes, but again, so many white shirts in front of the ball. It's hard to find passing angles even with the television camera. And loose pass from Maguire here. Result in a rush here for Crystal Palace. It's a pretty good ball into the path of Schlupp. The tackle from Lindelof doesn't do enough. They've picked out Jordan Ayew, who may be on sides here, looking for the game. And Ayew will finish it over De Gea. Sorry, that is Wilf Zaha finishing it over De Gea, but it looks like he is just caught off sides. Yeah, mixing up the pink cleats here. You see this challenge from Lindelof does come back, and yeah, does let his run go just a little bit too early. Zaha is offsides. This is a good finish over the head of De Gea. Lifting this one in, but pretty clear offsides there, caught by the side referee, and even were that one to go to VAR, I'm sure that would have been upheld. And Van de Beek actually going to come on here for Pogba, who will be withdrawn. Did look a little bit uncharacteristically off his game today. Again, some of these passes, 3 or 4 in a row, being weirdly misplayed by Pogba. It's not something you see too often for him, so maybe just not his day, but a little surprising to see the kind of player that can play a pass to break a game open withdrawn when you're trailing 1-0 at 67 minutes here. So new signing Donny van de Beek from Ajax is now onto the pitch and exchanging a couple passes here early with Rashford. Force back once again are United. Fernandez is on it now. He'll look wide to Fosu Mensah. Attempted cross from Fernandez is deflected by Schlupp. It will go out for a United corner here. Here's the corner from Bruno. Header won by Mutomine. It comes down to Lindelof, who gets a shot away. But that one sails on Lindelof, will go over the crossbar. So decent chance here. As you can see, this flicked header won by McTominay. It comes to Lindelof. It's always a little difficult for the defender. He's running forward, does have to steady himself and try to get contact with this one. Ends up leaning back a little bit, and that one sails high over the bar. Game restarted here by Gaeta. Donny van de Beek's attempted pass is deflected. Comes down to Andros Townsend. Now Wilfried Zaha finds a good reverse pass. It's dummied into the path of Jordan Ayew. He will take a shot. It's deflected. And it's enough on it for De Gea to collect. A very nice dummy there from Townsend. Looked like it had gotten Ayew in, but not clinical enough on that occasion. United will come the other way. They've picked out Rashford. He has a little bit of room to work, but already has MacArthur for company. Does juke by him. Will take a shot from 25 out, but nowhere near challenging Gaeta with that one, and it goes harmlessly wide of the goal. It's actually looking back. We're looking at a replay here for VAR. They're checking for a possible penalty on handball on this deflection here. So we're seeing the full replay. You can see here's the reverse pass from Zaha. Good dummy from Townsend. Gets Ayew in, and ooh, this one, the arm is extended from Lindelof. You can see that one chipped up. It does come off the hand, and I think this one might be a penalty for Crystal Palace. I think the only way this one is not is if you can clearly discern the path of the ball, can tell that that one is going wide. But this one is clipped up and clearly comes off the finger of Lindelof. And based on the rules of VAR and handballs in the box, and yes, they're going to say giving the signal for VAR running towards the box is the center referee here. I think this is going to be a penalty for Crystal Palace. Actually, referee saying he's going to take a look himself. I do like this from Jonathan Moss. Getting word that there is that possible handball, but wants to see a second look of it. Ole getting a look of the replay as well on the bench. John Moss has seen it now. Gets a couple of looks at it. Is still in the ear with the VAR official. This one will be close. Puts the whistle, signals VAR, and it will be a penalty to Crystal Palace. And this one will feel harsh for Victor Lindelof, but based on the way that these penalties were called for handball last season, I don't think it's changed much, and that one definitely alters the flight of the ball. This is a penalty for Crystal Palace and a great chance for them to close out this match, as we are just cresting 71 minutes here. So huge opportunity for Crystal Palace, and you can see Lindelof distraught with how that one has turned out. United looking at an opening day defeat here if this one does go in. And no Luka Milivojevic in the side, usually the penalty taker for Crystal Palace, so will have to be someone else. It looks like Jordan Ayew will be the one stepping to the plate in the absence of the midfielder. Taking the responsibility on for the penalty he has earned. Ayew against De Gea here. Moss checking players over the line. Whoa. Here's Ayew. It's a weird penalty, and it's saved by De Gea. An excellent save from the Spanish goalkeeper there, and that was a weird approach from Ayew. Sort of starts running up, stops, ends up completely draining his momentum at the end, trying to get De Gea to bite either side. De Gea does not bite, and Ayew gets very little power on the ball. De Gea is able to react to it rather than needing to dive, and gets a very strong hand on that one, saving it and making it look fairly easy there on that penalty. So Ayew fails to convert the penalty. And a referee indicating another VAR issue here is Not sure exactly what's going on. I saw the signal for VAR. He's going to go back to the monitor, I think. It looks like they're claiming De Gea came off his line too early, which may be the case. His right foot is definitely very close to the line. No, and they have called it. So the penalty is going to be retaken here. They're calling De Gea for leaving the line too early. So what was a great save for David De Gea will now be retaken. We'll see if Jordan Ayew is stepping up to this one again. No, it will be Wilfried Zaha stepping up to this one now. So Zaha with a chance once again to close this one out for Crystal Palace. 73 minutes on the clock. Whistle has been blown. Here comes Zaha. And he will score. Powerful penalty into the top left corner. And De Gea cannot stop this one. It's 2-0 Crystal Palace after the retaken penalty from Wilfried Zaha. Man United players are visibly frustrated, as is the coaching staff. But the way that VAR is done, De Gea called for leaving the line too early. This time he does not. That one roofed over the top of him. Really looking at it once again, it's not a terrific penalty from Wilf Zaha. They're definitely savable, but does get enough height on it that it gets over De Gea's outstretched hand there. And at the end of the day, it is 2-0 Crystal Palace here. So United now very under the cosh with just about 20 minutes remaining in this match. Down 2-0. A substitution here for Crystal Palace, as it looks like Eberechi Eze will be coming on for Jeffrey Schlupp, who has contributed very well to this match. Excellent in defense. Excellent going forward on the counter for Crystal Palace. And the assister on their first goal with Andros Townsend. So excellent shift here from Schlupp once again, as Palace are set for their second win in 2 matches here. On to 6 points to match Everton at the top of the table. So Maguire does well to win this one back for his team, but Rashford going to leave this one behind. Does get stepped on by McCarthy, and that one should be a foul. Yep. To the side of Man United. So they will get a set piece opportunity here on 75 minutes. Here is Bruno Fernandes sending this one in towards the back post. Coming out is Gaeta. It's headed away by Sacco before his goalkeeper can get there. Well done by the center back there. Eze tries to collect this one, but it does escape him. Fosu Mensah now with the ball under his control will look out wide to Fernandes. He tries to find a split pass. This one does get in behind the Crystal Palace back line. It's Martial now, but it's well defended by MacArthur. Cannot get it through. Crystal Palace midfielder will be cleared out for a United throw. Fernandes will take it quickly. It's Luke Shaw. Now Van de Beek trying to exchange with Fernandes, asking for some options. Going to spray this one back out wide to Fosu Mensah. Greenwood in that interior channel position. Not going to get on top of this one, and it will be Lindelof. Shifted across to Maguire. Maguire out wide to Shaw now. Here's Martial. Exchanging passes with Van de Beek. Inside the box, here's Rashford. Van de Beek now. Ooh, his pass just escapes McTominay at the top of the box, and Eze can come away with it. His pass intended for, I believe, Townsend picked off. Sorry, intended for Ayew, picked off there by Maguire. United can come back the other way. Greenwood stopping. Here's Fernandes under pressure from Ayew. Does not get the sympathy of the referee, and now it's a 2v3 the other way. Ayew slowing down, waiting for Wilf Zaha. Tries to get around Harry Maguire. He will drag him to the ground. I think that would have been a pretty easy foul onto Zaha, even if he had gotten onto that ball. So well defended by Maguire, and United will come back with Shaw. Completely deadens the ball here before playing a crossfield pass that will connect well with Fosu Mensah. Parried here by Mitchell. Mitchell does well, knocks this one out for United throw. Comes in for McTominay, now into Fernandez. Tries to skew a ball over to Rashford, but doesn't quite get the contact. It's easily cleared away by Joel Ward. Now this one out wide for Greenwood. Looks inside for Van de Beek. Exchanging a 1-2. This one almost clipped off of Greenwood, but cleared away by MacArthur. Fernandez off the throw, back to Van de Beek. Resets this one to Maguire. Maguire looking for options here, not really seeing many, and his pass is poor. It's picked off by Townsend, and now Palace can run again. Here's an outside of the foot pass that does this. Oh, it's a great tackle from McTominay. That pass from Townsend almost escaping him into the path of Zaha. But McTominay with that last-ditch sliding challenge does manage to come away with the ball, and United now have it. Here's Van de Beek back to Rashford. Rashford with two players defending him. Cannot quite get it back to Van de Beek, but will win his side a throw. Palace still looking very dangerous on the counter here. But now Martial is inside the box looking for options. We'll try to clip this one into Van de Beek. Has two players defending him. It's poked away by Joel Ward there. Sorry, that is James MacArthur. He does clear that one away for a throw. Throw in from Shaw will find Van de Beek. He'll first time over to Fosu-Mensah. Here is Greenwood. Fosu-Mensah. Out to McTominay. Now Greenwood. Cuts it back. Gets inside. Shot is blocked by MacArthur. Here's Lindelof out wide to Fosu-Mensah. He will cross. Oh, and they skew the clearance here. Comes to Van de Beek, and Van de Beek scores! So a debut goal for Donny Van de Beek off of the missed clearance by Cheku Kouyaté, and a mistake by Crystal Palace will give United a lifeline in this match. 80 minutes on the clock. 10 minutes remaining in regulation. We should have a good amount of stoppage time due to all of the chaos around that penalty for Crystal Palace's second goal. So we can see here again, the cross comes in from Fosu-Mensah. The initial clearance is missed by Kouyaté. It bounces off of Joel Ward's right leg, and Sakho can't get a foot on it. It falls to Van de Beek, who makes no mistake, buries that one into the bottom left corner. So the Dutchman getting on the board here on his debut off of the bench, and he gives United a lifeline into this match.
Wonderful.
JBaller002, thank you for following. Welcome to the booth here. Hope you are enjoying the stream. In the meantime, we have had Fosu-Mensah subbed off. Also, Jordan Ayew has come off. So Ayew off, Batshuayi on for Crystal Palace. I believe Fosu-Mensah has probably been sacrificed for either Wan-Bissaka or an attacking player. It is an attacking player. Odion Ighalo is on here for Fosu-Mensah. So United will go to three backs. McTominay seeming to occupy that outside right position as he will be involved taking this one off of Eberechi Eze, but Eze will win it back off of Van de Beek. Here's Townsend out wide to, I believe, Zaha, and it looks like he may be offsides once again. Assistant referee here on the far touchline picking that one out, and United will be able to restart. So a little bit of energy here for the Red Devils, knowing they do have an opportunity now to get something out of this game. They had looked lifeless before that, particularly after going down 2-0 to a retaken penalty. Now Greenwood across to Van de Beek. Looking for options. We'll pick out Shaw wide. Shaw, Van de Beek. A pass picked out by Joel Ward, but goes out for the throw-in. Oh, sorry. Thank you for the reminder, Jay Baller. The score is 2-1. So United actually just scored, so appreciate the reminder to put that one up. So it's 2-1 Crystal Palace right now. Crystal Palace scored a goal in the 7th minute, courtesy of Andros Townsend. And then another one on 70 minutes, courtesy of a penalty awarded for a handball on Victor Lindelof off of an attempted Jordan Ayew chip. Ayew took the first penalty that was saved by De Gea, but it was called to be retaken because De Gea had left his line too early per VAR review, and Wilfried Zaha stepped up and took the second one, burying that one into the upper left corner. Just seeing the United goal off of a missed clearance from Crystal Palace, as now Odion Igalo going to find himself at the top of the box, but this one pulled off him by Eze will be cleared away. So United getting that goal as Checo Kouyaté missing a clearance there, bounced into the path of Donny van de Beek, who put it away into the bottom left corner. So now United with a lifeline at 83 minutes here, putting a little bit more pressure, it feels like, onto this Crystal Palace side than they were for the first 70 minutes of this match. Goals can be very energizing, and here's another missed clearance from MacArthur. Shaw on the left side tries to cross this one back to Martial. This one is picked off by Townsend. Rashford gets to it first. Will find Harry Maguire, who seems to have made some contact with Wilfried Zaha, who's down in a heap on the ground. No foul's been called. Just a minor hand to the face there from Zaha. Seems to be trying to my eyes, just waste a little bit of time. Now looks like he's talking out Maguire for really no reason. Obviously no swing in that whatsoever. Maguire just using his body, trying to fend off his English teammate as Van de Beek getting stuck into a challenge here with Batshuayi, but Batshuayi will hold him off. Here's Eze now. McTominay following him. Fernandez now. This ball across now to Zaha. Will turn Victor Lindelof. He's inside the box. Takes a shot and scores! And just like that, it's 3-1 Palace, and this one is out of reach again. United affording too much space to Wilfried Zaha, and he will punish them very quickly. Getting just a half yard there and absolutely buries this one in the bottom corner. De Gea seemed to be caught out as he's beaten at his near post, and that one was by him in a flash. Eze doing nice work here on the far touchline. Here's Mitchell, looks inside, and this one coming off of a sort of half challenge from Lindelof. They give Zaha too much space, and between Lindelof and Maguire, nobody quite gets stuck in. And De Gea is certainly not blameless in this one. Gets caught shifting to his back post, doesn't get any sort of power, and doesn't even get a dive off for that one as it goes into the bottom left corner there. So second goal for Zaha in the match. Third goal of the season for him already. Doing very well for himself in these first two matches, and United once again now down 2 goals on 85 minutes. There will be a decent amount of stoppage time in this second half, but it is a tall task to ask for United to come back from this one, as they have not looked at their sharpest this afternoon. United restarting this one from the throw. Van de Beek has it. Will look to McTominay. Gonna update the score before I forget. Rashford looking for options here. Just forced to go all the way back to Lindelof. Now Maguire. Shaw. Shaw has been allowed all the way into the inside part of the field, but is just forced to go back to Martial on the wing. Martial's tackled here by Joel Ward. Andros Townsend has it now. We'll clear this one out for a throw. 3-1 Crystal Palace. Just 3 minutes remaining in regulation here. Bit of a break in the action as we do have a substitution for Crystal Palace. Luka Milivojevic coming on probably for James McCarthy in this case. So Milivojevic will be on for the last 3 minutes to shore up this match. So United have won themselves a corner Fernandez across to take this one quickly. Goes short. This one headed out at the near post by Joel Ward. And now there's some room to run here. Shaw on to Zaha, whose back pass doesn't quite find Kuyate. Igalo comes away with it. Now Lindelof. Got to look out wide for Shaw. There's an overlapping run from McTominay as Greenwood going to cut inside. Clip this one in towards the back post. He finds the head of Fernandez, who looks across. But Igalo not quick enough to get there. And Gaita able to shield this one out for a goal kick. And Ole Gunnar Solskjaer now with very few options left to him. 3-1 Crystal Palace, 88 minutes gone here. They'll be looking to just shore this one up and come away with their second victory of the season, putting them tied joint top of the table with 6 points here. Awaiting the rest of the matches, of course, tomorrow and Monday. But United, after having the week off in week 1 due to being in the Europa League at the end of last season, will slump likely to a defeat here in their first match. The good flicked pass here from Zaha will pick out Eze. Eze alone with McTominay now has Fernandez alongside him. This pass into Townsend, back to Milivojevic. He cuts back around Odion Igalo, who is sucking back in to defend. Here's Kuyate. Bit of a big touch here. Well, just went out the challenge. Here's a shot from the top of the D from Batshuayi, but he will get underneath that one and it will sail high and wide. So nothing doing there for Batshuayi. This one will be restarted by United. Look long. Martial will collect this one. Drives forward, looks backwards towards Greenwood. Inside to Fernandez now. Fernandez into Igalo's feet. He looks like he's been dragged down, but no call from Jonathan Moss. Play will continue. Palace has it now. It's Eze out wide. Here's Zaha. Good connection. Here's Eze alone with really Maguire only. Batshuayi on the right. Wilf trying to get open on the left, but a great tackle from Maguire will end that effort from Eberechi Eze. Now it's out to Marcus Rashford driving forward. That's the retreating Milivojevic now for company. We'll look inside to Van de Beek. Here's Fernandez. Cuts back on this one. Does get away from MacArthur. Here's Martial cutting inside. Looks for a shot. This one blocked by Milivojevic. One back by Maguire. But his touch is a little bit poor. Gets away towards Wolf Zaha, who's brought down by Bruno Fernandes. 6 minutes of stoppage time at the end of this match here. As I mentioned, it did expect quite a bit of stoppage time. We've had a long breaks for the penalty for the second Crystal Palace goal and a couple other players down throughout this half, but plenty of time left. But still an extremely tall task for Man United to try to claw 2 goals back here today. They have not looked like doing so far. Even the goal they have scored, partially due to a mistake by the Crystal Palace back line, as Shaw heads coolly back to his goalkeeper there, allowing De Gea to pick it up. He will roll this one wide. It's McTominay. Plays this one across the field. Will connect with Mason Greenwood, but he's closed down quickly by Andros Townsend. Does get his head up, chips this one in towards Odion Igalo. Cleared away by Cheikhou Kouyaté. Joel Ward will get the final boot into the United half. Maguire's there to collect it. Brings it forward to Van de Beek. Here's Fernandez. Greenwood trying to take on one. Will not get away with it, but does find Fernandez. Now here's Van de Beek, top of the box, on the feet of Martial. There's so many Crystal Palace players that are crowding the United attackers. Pass from Bruno there. Attempting to find McTominay with the late run, but it's deflected away by MacArthur. Four minutes now remaining for United to make something happen. Shaw will throw in towards Igalo, but Sacco is quick across and will knock that one back out of play. Shaw this time a little quicker on the throw, picks up Martial. He looks inside to Van de Beek. Shaw will drive inside. Outside of the left foot cross, but nobody running onto that one. Gaita will let it go harmlessly behind the goal and will eat another minute of this clock away as he sets up for this goal kick. And nobody truly believing in that run, and Rashford a little bit late coming in at the far post. Here is Gaita. Going to knock this one long out towards the left-hand side. Header's partially won by McTominay, then headed out of play by Lindelof. Mitchell with the throw. Looks up the line towards Eze. Eze is challenged by McTominay, but will be a Crystal Palace throw. Played in once again. Eze defended by McTominay. Poked away from him. Now it's Rashford with it, defended by Mitchell. He will escape Mitchell's attentions, will escape Milivojevic, and will get in front of Mitchell. He should be drawing a foul here, and will. John Moss will call this one back. Bruno tries to restart this one quickly, but has it blocked by Batshuayi. Lindelof will be forced to sprint back to collect it. Now into Van de Beek. Forward goes Martial. Out wide to McTominay. Now basically occupying the right back position. Maguire. Shaw. Decent look inside towards Van de Beek, but that one is deflected. We'll go out for a United corner here. Greenwood setting up. We'll take it quickly. Picks out Shaw, but he's on his right foot. Can't really cross it from there. It's Fernandez looking across the box to McTominay. McTominay trying to have the beating of Mitchell. We'll get the cross away on the ground, but it's deflected out of play by Sacco. Fernandez now in the far right corner for this one. Crossing in, headed away easily by Batshuayi. Zaha trying to run it down, but Shaw will get the better of him on this occasion. Able to win that one back, knock it forward. 30 seconds remaining in regulation here. This one crossed by Fernandez. Will connect with Rashford. Gets a turn here. Looks back out wide to Fernandez. He will cross. Nope. Fakes the cross onto his left foot. Now crossed back into the box. This one flicked towards the back post. Greenwood will come away with it. Defended by Ward. Does beat Ward. Gets the cross off, but headed behind for a corner by James MacArthur. This should be the last action of the match here. Greenwood out to take this corner. Goes short to Rashford. Rashford will cross to the top of the box. Here's Fernandez. Will set up for the strike. This one deflected. Comes out to Maguire. And the referee puts the whistle to his mouth and will blow for full time. So Crystal Palace will come out of Old Trafford here 3-1 victors today in their second match of the season. United's first. Thanks to an early Andros Townsend goal followed by a controversial penalty off of a handball from Victor Lindelof. The initial attempt from Jordan Ayew saved by De Gea, but called for leaving his line too early. Wilfried Zaha steps up to take the second one and buries it, and then picks up a third on 80 minutes after United got one back following an error in defensive clearance from Crystal Palace, courtesy of Donny van de Beek. So that will do it for the coverage of the match today. Do want to thank everyone that has joined for the coverage. Do hope you enjoyed the match, and now we can talk about opinions, reactions, and a little bit of player ratings. So, wow, that's not a good start for United. Very, very bad showing in general. Play was poor. Ideas were lacking. Defense was pretty shocking as well. Nolan is laughing at me in chat. Nolan's an Arsenal fan, so he can definitely laugh for now. They looked very good. Townsend was very good today. Townsend was very good, for sure. I think most of the Crystal Palace attackers were very good. And we'll get into the match ratings for the individuals. I'll say from the team perspective, good setup from Roy Hodgson, although nothing unexpected from him. He is a defensive manager. But questionable setup from United, I would say. It's their normal formation. Their squad was in, but maybe a knock to Wan-Bissaka, so he can't start. But the selection of James is very questionable to me from the beginning because he does not have the capability that Greenwood does to break down a defense, really. He is a standard winger, sort of through and through, and he still can get better, of course, but from what we've seen of him, he's the kind of winger that likes to have space and likes to cross and will be fairly predictable in his style of play. And against a team that likes to play defensively and then go on the counter with quick forwards and wingers like Crystal Palace, it's really bad to be predictable against a 4-4-2. So questionable setup. I do like the fact that he subbed Greenwood at half. I don't think Greenwood had the impact anyone would have liked him to have. Did have some interesting questions about him playing in the interior channel when Fosu Mensah is not really a great overlapping right back. Would have been maybe a better idea if it was Wan-Bissaka, although even Wan-Bissaka maybe not the best offensive right back. But so questionable setup from United. Pretty poor play, I would say, all around, and well done to Crystal Palace. They came out with a game plan. They executed it very well. Their players were clinical, and I would say their front four defenders, I'd say pretty much everyone put in a good shift, but their front four looked very, very good today. So if we look at the individual player ratings, we'll go through United quickly because I think I'll have a lot of similar reactions. So I completely disagree with everything that FootMob has here. They have a 6.8 for Luke Shaw, a 6.6 for Harry Maguire, a 6.6 for Lindelof, and a 7.3 for Fosu Mensah. I'm not casting Arsenal, no. I'll be hopping off after this. So none of them deserve a rating over 6. If anyone comes out unscathed from the defense, it is probably Fosu Mensah. However, part of Fosu Mensah's responsibility in the second half, because Greenwood was playing on the inside channel, was to get up and serve crosses. He played one good cross to Greenwood that Greenwood should have done better with, but otherwise was uninspiring. I'm going to give Fosu Mensah a 5.5. I'm going to give Lindelof a 5. I'm going to give Maguire a 5. And I'm going to give Shaw a 5. Because they were, frankly, very, very poor at defending Crystal Palace's attacks. They looked like they didn't want the ball at their feet at all. Particularly Maguire was kind of skewing passes all over the place. Shaw really offered very little on the attacking end and defended okay at the back. But the fact that they were torn open so fairly easily on the counter, and I know it's hard to defend on the counter. I think Pogba-McTominay pairing is sustainable. I mean, I think you need an anchor. I think McTominay does his job, similar to what we would talk about McArthur and McCarthy doing their job. I think Pogba didn't play very well today, and that tends to hurt that kind of pairing. But yeah, I think that sort of pairing is fairly sustainable, and I think even if it weren't McTominay, it would be someone in that mold. I don't think you could play someone like Thiago next to Paul Pogba, for example. I think that would not go very well. So I would give the back four 5s. I would give Fosu Mensah a 5.5. I would give De Gea a 5.5. Not much he could have done about the first one. He did get a finger to it, just didn't get enough. You could argue he could do better, but he was shifting across his goal. I think it was a good finish from Townsend. Second one, the penalty. He saves one. Gets a little unlucky that he leaves the line. Maybe could have done better with the penalty, but it's a penalty. The third one, I think he could have done a lot better with. I think he got caught shifting. The fact that it beats him at his near post I don't think it was a perfect shot from Wilf, and the fact that he didn't dive is suspect to me. Pogba, 5.5. Pretty uninvolved. Really weird day for him. Not a great passing day whatsoever. Had a lot of sort of misplayed passes. I give McTominay a 6. Oh, yeah. Good call. Whoops. Forgot about the time. Thank you. So I scroll down to the subs. The subs get rated, but they don't just get replaced. So we'll go down to the subs in the and talk about their performance, assuming they were subbed on to a certain degree. But maybe there's a setting in FootMob. I'll take a look, but it's definitely a good shout. Dan James, 5'5", like I said, predictable. Didn't do a lot. Subbed off at half. That should explain it. I think you can give him a 5, actually. 5'5" might be generous. Bruno, 6.5. Tried to do whatever he could. Was always going to be United's probably most dangerous threat, but was fairly limited. McCarthy and MacArthur did a very good job of limiting his space. But any United chance that did really get created was mostly through him. Rashford was pretty invisible on the left. I mean, he was closed down by 2 or 3 players every time he got the ball. I'd give him a 6, maybe a 5.5. I think a 5.5 for Martial's fair as well. I think, again, struggled, wasn't very involved with the match, and didn't do a lot when he was there. Should you spend $300 on Vapors? That is up to you. They're nice cleats. Van de Beek, gets a 7, maybe 7.5. Comes on, looked pretty decent. Gets a goal. Even if it was a mistake, he still finished it. So gets a 7. Congrats. Greenwood, probably a 5.5 or 6. Wasn't super involved, but was trying to get involved in the match. You can see him going from side to side. He wanted to make an impact. Maybe just didn't get a ton of chances to do so and kind of messed up his one chance that fell to him on the head. Okay, we'll go through Crystal Palace. Gaita, 7. Solid on all the saves he needed to make. Don't think there was much he could do on the goal. So, well played to him. Joel Ward, Checo Kouyaté, Mamadou Sakho, Tyrick Mitchell. I think you give Mitchell a 7.5. I think he was very solid. Helped in the build-up to the first goal. Sakho, I think 7.5. Kouyaté, I think 7.5. I think they were really strong. Did well against Igalo. Did well against Martial. Joel Ward, I think 7.5. So I think well done to the whole back line. They make one mistake, so maybe you could dock Kouyaté to 7 for missing that clearance and resulting in the goal. I think that's the only thing you take away from him. Townsend, I'd give an 8.5. I think he had the goal, which was very nicely taken. He was very involved in all their attacks, defending super well, looked very creative, looked very lively. I'd say 8.5. The MacArthur-McCarthy pairing gets a 7.5, even an 8 from me. I think they did an excellent job containing Fernandes, containing the United midfield, keeping the team organized. Very good shifts from both of them. Let's say 7.5 since it was mostly on the defensive end. Schlupp, 8 for sure. Gets the assist on that first one. Looked super lively on all their counter-attacking with Wilf and Ayew. I think very nicely played for him. Gets subbed early but has done his job. So 8 for him. 9 for Wilf Zaha. Picks up 2 goals. Looked dangerous the entire match. He's combining well with his other players. Holding up play well. Drawing fouls. Excellent match from Wilf Zaha. Jordan Ayew, I think it's a 7. Definitely the lesser of the 2 attackers. Was a little bit selfish with a couple of his chances, but was still involved in some good interplay with them. Also gets docked for missing that penalty and then getting fortunate enough to have it called back. Subs for Crystal Palace, Eze, 6. Did his job, did fine. And then Batshuayi and Milivojevic came on too late, I would say, to get a rating. So that pretty much does it for us today. Thanks again for tuning in. Hope you did enjoy the stream and the broadcasting, and I do appreciate the feedback on the timer and the substitutions. I'll see if there's a way to automatically get the substitutions on FootMob, but they are a third-party website, so can't ask for too much from them. Thoughts on the best way to defend Zaha? Don't let him get into situations where he can dribble you. Also, don't let him shoot from the top of the box for free. The way that Crystal Palace plays is fairly defined. They play 4-4-2 because Roy Hodgson's defensive. They try to shut down their opposition, and they hope that Wilfried Zaha can make something happen. He is one of the best players at shifting, really balanced, shifting close dribbles, basically. And so never let him get in a one-on-one. If he beats you in a 1v2, foul him outside the box. And the other way is, you can see there is one thing that Zaha, I think, does struggle with. He is a bit of a hothead also. I think he can take himself out of matches very quickly. He's done it in the past, and players have gotten frustrated with him. They never lose faith in him because he wins them so many matches and keeps them in the Premier League because no one on his team is even close to his talent level. But you can see he got clipped by the hand of Maguire. No intention whatsoever from Maguire, just obviously doing whatever any player would ever do. And Zaha completely milked it to waste time and then decided to get angry at Maguire And this is not the first time that this has happened. This is a very regular thing for Wolf Zaha. So I do think one of the options is to get in his head. He has, sometimes it fires him. There have been plenty of matches in the past for Crystal Palace where he just stops trying. So I do think he has a little bit of a head case. But defending, just get him in 1v2. I mean, they're playing counterattack style. You just can't be open. And Maguire and Lindelof looked so afraid of having the ball, looked so determined to like track back and like run straight back. They never got set or in position to really defend him, and they never closed him out hard. So there are ways to defend him, but mostly don't get caught with your pants down and don't suck. Really, they were like the defending on the counterattack. I think from United was pretty horrendous today. Like super open, caught out by everything, late to everything. It was bad. So they're going to have to do better, or this start of the season will look a lot like the start of last season. So we'll see. But that, again, is all for me. Thanks again. Appreciate you sticking around for the commentary afterwards and giving some talking points. And I'll work on I'll get the timer stopped at the end of the match. I'll see if FootMob can do anything. But other than that, thank you all for tuning in. Have a wonderful day.